Hello, friends. It's good to see some of y'all here. My name is Justin Brady Joyner Bricks, and I have a special guest with me, and I'll let him introduce himself in just a moment. But really excited to have y'all join again. So every month, I try to do a live stream on the second Saturday of the month. Typically my morning, often people's afternoon for the people that tend to view this. So if you're calling in from the afternoon, good afternoon, as my guest is today. And yeah, it's just meant to be a fun way to chat with other AFOLs and connect. I usually do build and chat, and I try to build a set. The set I picked for today is very ambitious for a live stream. And so we'll get into that later, but the set designer is here with us. So I am going to just hand it over to Steve to briefly introduce himself. So hi, Steve. Welcome.
Hi, thanks, Justin. Yeah, so my name is Steve. I'm over in the UK. I met Justin at Brick Rodeo last year, which was my first show over in America. So that was super exciting. And yeah, I how can I introduce myself? I've been a Lego fan since I was 4 or 5, and I'm super into Lego. In fact, I've made a job out of playing with Lego. So I run my own little business, doing workshops in local schools and museums and trying to get people into Lego. And I'm mainly known for my time on Lego Masters. So I was on the very first series of Lego Masters, which started here in the UK before it went over to America and Australia and everywhere. And I'm also known for being the fan designer behind the LEGO Ideas Typewriter.
Yay, I love it. Thank you for that awesome introduction. And also, I feel like I should have said all those wonderful things about you and said them in huge ways, because there's all these incredible things about my friend Steve. So as Steve mentioned, original LEGO Masters winner as well from the LEGO Masters UK. You can watch it if you're in the United States, I believe on, what is it called? Tubi, I think is what I watched it on. So the UK version, the Australia version, and the US version are all on Tubi. The Australia version is continued, and so not all seasons are there. But the UK version, it's so fun and so different to watch than the rest of the seasons. It feels more to me like a documentary of a competition in the way that it's filmed, just like a little bit different than, maybe not documentary, but it just, the vibe is very different, and it's such a fun way. It's such a joyful, positive thing. So yeah, you can check Steve out there. Have you watched other seasons of LEGO Masters to see kind of the differences between how they operate?
Yes, so the some of the Australian and American ones are streamed over here too. I've not watched them all, but I've dipped in and out, and yeah, they're pretty different from the UK one. I think the UK one, they did a lot of filming with us outside of the show. So they do, like, they came to my house and, came to where I worked and stuff. They really sort of wanted to get like a bit of a story of behind the contestants. And then the other main difference was that there were kids and adults involved. So it wasn't just adults. So you'd have like a father and son, or, an uncle and a nephew, or friends, or, so it was really good fun. And it was just, nobody took it too seriously. It was just, we just had a bit of a giggle with it. Playing with Lego, it was great fun.
I love that so much. And what you said too about how they went to your workplace and they did a lot more of the behind the scenes stuff. I think that's where, when I describe it as documentary style, like, to me, we get more of this really cool backstory of the people that are on it, as well as just the way the competition was set up. So we see the different processes of how you were selected for it a little bit in the first episode, I think. It's delightful, and it's so fun, and it's different than what we see in American TV, and I love that. I actually, a lot of times when we see British shows, I really enjoy them sometimes better than US shows. So that format works well for me. But yes, definitely check it out. Steve is so fun to watch on there. The kids that were on there were impressive and fun and good builders, and it was just, really neat to see the combination of having kids in the room with adults and the competition style that way too. So really, really cool.
I'm super excited to hear your news as well, Justin.
Oh, thank you.
Really looking. I'm hoping that they stream that. They don't make us wait and they stream it at the same time that you can watch it. I'll have to look in. There may be some other platform I can watch it on at the same time that it's aired out in America, but I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Steve is mentioning I have a little thing right here. That's the LEGO Masters logo. It was just announced last week, finally, that I'm on the season 5 of the US LEGO Masters. So very excited for that. Ben says British TV is greater than US TV. Yeah, agreed, right, Ben? And Ben is a connoisseur of lots of really great shows that are definitely British shows, I think, as well. So that we've talked about that. Ben is in my lug, in Tech's Lug Austin. He's a dear friend of mine. He's also a lug ambassador. So he represents our lug with the LEGO Ambassador Network, which is really fun. And he's a fantastic, fantastic friend. And he's never watched a season of LEGO Masters, but he promised me he would now. So sorry, Ben, and thank you. And Philip says, woo, excited to cheer you on. Thank you. That's my husband. So of course he has to cheer me on. But he's been so supportive through this whole process, which is super fun. My current goal is to get him to audition with another friend of ours, to find a good friend that would be a good partner for him to go on for a future season. So we do share one thing in common. It's the LEGO Masters thing. But one of the things that I love and that I wanted to talk about too, and part of why I invited you today is because, and I'm showing this smaller thing, which I'll talk about in a second too. Steve designed the incredible typewriter set. So it was set number 21327. So that's the one that I'm wanting to talk about a lot today on the call, a little bit, as well as just LEGO Ideas in general, because Steve has an incredible new LEGO Ideas set up there now that you can vote on. So we'll get to that in a minute, and I'll also share a little bit about my LEGO Ideas set too, that are up there as well. But wanted to feature someone who has had an incredible impact on the AFOL community, both with obviously your showing on LEGO Masters, which then that became a bigger thing around the world, which is really cool. But also, more importantly, with sets that are in people's homes every day, which is really, really neat. So do you want to share a little bit about LEGO Ideas? Do you want me to? Either's fine.
Yes, so I can share a little bit of the story behind my typewriter. So,
and sorry, just to pause you real quick. Before you get in, can you just give a brief overview of what LEGO Ideas is?
Oh, LEGO Ideas. Yes. So any fan of LEGO over the age of 16 can come up with an idea, a LEGO design. They can build it virtually, or they can build it with bricks, and then you submit a series of photos and a little description to the LEGO Ideas website. And the process is that you have to try and get 10,000 people to support your idea. It's totally free to do. You just log on to the site and click on support. Mm-hmm. And then that process tells the LEGO group that there is a significant interest in your idea. And so they then take all the ideas that have got to 10,000. So there might be 40 or 50 in the course of 2 or 3 months. And then they'll sit down and they'll say, right, out of all these great ideas, which ones should we take forward to make into a set? And there might only be one each quarter. There might be 2 or 3. So yeah, I mean, I was super lucky to get my set through. It took me quite a long time, over a year, to get all of the supporters. I went to lots of different LEGO shows and trying to get as many people to see the idea as possible. And I was lucky that the LEGO Ideas team really, sort of saw what I was thinking behind the idea. Really, I wanted a set that hadn't, nothing like it had been done before. It was sort of the first kind of real world object. I mean, there's been a few now, but I think it was one of the first, and it was really aimed at people who weren't into Lego. So the reaction I get a lot when I show people is that that's not made of Lego, that's a real typewriter. And then I said, well, it's made of Lego, you could have a go at building one. And I get so much out of my passion for Lego. I get a buzz out of making anything, even the smallest thing. I really enjoy it. And
Yeah.
my aim was for the typewriter to be a vehicle for other people to get into the hobby.
Yay. I love that so much. It is, yeah, and the way you described it is perfect too, and I think exactly how I describe it as well. That this is a set that's like a piece that Lego was not building or creating at the time. So here's a picture of it. If you have your actual copy beside you, if you want to show it.
It's in my
I was gonna
cabinet
say,
in the
no
other room.
worries. Yeah,
Yeah.
no worries at all. I should have asked you in advance. I also, like I said, I was very ambitious to pick this one for a live stream, so I'm not going to have a finished product to show y'all. But I will show you the cover picture on the instruction book. So beautiful, beautiful final display model, and more than just a beautiful display model, it is so intricate on the inside to create the experience of actually typing on the keyboard. I built bags 1 and 2 last night in preparation for this because I knew I could not do 1 and 2 beforehand. When Steve and I had like a practice call to make sure that all the computer pieces worked and everything for this, he had suggested, and I was already planning to do this a little bit, but like maybe open it and get through some of the tough bits first, and get to more of the window dressing, like decorative parts for the live stream. And I'm so glad I did. So here, just to show y'all, let me just zoom in for y'all to see as well. This is what what you get with bags 1 and 2, which is very ambitious for just 2 bags. First off, I was surprised there's only, I think it was 16 bags or 12 bags. But all of these keys actually move, and they go up and down a little bit here and there. And there's 3 levels of them because we're going to be typing on it just like a real typewriter. And I don't know yet if I'm typing on this side or if I'm typing on this side. I think it's this side would be my assumption. So I think this is where the keys will go. But y'all, this is intense. Like this is one of the more challenging sets that you could build. I would compare it as from like a challenging standpoint in similar ways to how I would compare the piano, which is also an incredible model. And one of my favorites that I have. I played piano growing up. It's a big, important part of my life. Music is a huge part of my life. And so getting that set and getting to build it and actually see the keys move, it's incredible. But yeah, so that was bags 1 and 2. Bag 3 are my favorite parts that I've seen so many people buy these on Bricklink or other places to be able to use the letters in different ways, but these are the keys. So that's what I'm going to focus on to start today. But y'all, it was such a cool experience going through the first bag 1 and bag 2, and seeing kind of how that all goes together.
An interesting little bit of information about the key,
please.
Justin,
Yeah.
was that obviously my idea was I produced a series of prototypes when I came up with the idea, and then once Lego approved it, they get their designers to work on it and redesign it and make it as best they possibly can. So there were 3 designers that helped working on it.
Cool.
The guy called Martin Fink was the graphic designer.
Okay.
And he came up with 5 or 6 different designs just for the keys, different typefaces and fonts and decorations and everything.
That's
and they
cool.
Specifically said that they wanted to keep the keys fairly simple because a lot of typewriters have like more than one thing written on the key. They might have a tiny little number as well as a letter and things like that. But they wanted to keep them simple so that people could actually use them in mocks. So it wasn't just, although it was a unique print for the set, they wanted it to be able to be used. And I love it when I see other people's mocks that have got some of my keys on. So that's cool.
That is really cool. And I love that they were thoughtful about how people might reuse these parts. I've seen them in countless mocks as well. So everyone who typically joins these knows the terms, but I still like to remind people what the terms mean in case there's new to AFOLDM people. So mocks means my own creation. So that would be like a Lego build that you designed from your head. It's not something that was from instructions. So when Steve is talking about how these parts get reused in mocks, what he's saying is like people may take these letters and they might spell something out, and it might be the name of a bowling alley. So maybe they're making a bowling alley and they wanted round, fun letters to give that kind of pop culture retro vibe or something. These are so versatile for that type of thing. And I love that. I've seen it on people's name badges at conventions. My name, Justin, would fit, but Brady Joyner Bricks would be wrong. And that is one complaint, which this is not a real complaint, but I wish I had these letters in with multiples of the letters, which obviously does not make any sense for a typewriter. But because I'd like to spell things out other than just things that you can spell with just one instance of every letter. So, but so interesting. I hadn't really thought about how on keys often there's like little details. So obviously this one's backspace, but all the rest of them, it's just the letter. That makes so much sense though for kind of reuse. So cool. I also love, and we were talking about this recently. I love that LEGO employs graphic designers to do the design work on sets. And I think a lot of people don't really give them credit or really think much about their job. Usually they might even hear some complaints because they hate stickers. And it's like, it's not the graphic designer's fault that it's a sticker, first off. No. That's the design team that made that choice. But the graphic designers have to really spend a lot of time making sure that they're getting the product exactly right. So in this case, the letters had to be done in a way that were believable to be on an actual typewriter. And it's not as simple as just like pick a font. They're really thoughtful around how do each letter show up within that little round bubble, and how does this all make sense and everything too. So this is one of many examples. We were talking about it this week because one of my dear friends who is on season 4 of LEGO Masters is designing trading cards that we can give out at conventions for us. And we gave him minifigure parts and stuff that look like our sig figs. And so he was designing my sig fig, and I gave him the parts for this one. Let me zoom in real quick. To show. So I gave him the parts for this one because this is the one that I use. I wish this hair came in purple, but I've used this hair for too many years to want to switch it to something else. But if you notice, the eyebrows are, there's like a little bit of kind of, I described it as like a jaunty eyebrow. And in the little graphic design version, when he was like actually taking the image, but then trying to make it into an image that could fit on the card. The first version had the eyebrow just ever so slightly more up, and it looked very sinister or maniacal. And I was like, that's, can we change it? And then he adjusted it down, and it went down just a bit too far, and it looked very sheepish and apologetic, like, I'm sorry, I'm here. And I was like, can we adjust it again? And it was funny. And I said in the chat back and forth with him, like, this is giving me so much more respect too for the graphic designers at LEGO who have to make sure that they get every single detail so perfectly right that when someone opens a minifigure and sees it, they know exactly the expression, or when they see the typewriter, they know exactly kind of what we were going for. So anyway, rant, but art is important and valuable and underrated. So kudos to all the graphic designers of the world. Hi, Eduardo. I see you're building the grand piano right now, which is, like I said, an incredible set. That one was one that I got a bonus at work a number of years ago, and this is before I was a LEGO ambassador. And that was a wish list set for me for years. And so I thought I have to get it. I think it had been on store shelves for maybe 2 years at the time. And for me, it took time to build, but I really enjoyed taking the time to get through the build process. So. Hi, puppies.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Penny will probably bark in the other room here in a little bit too. But good luck with the piano. Now that mine is built and it's been used many times over to like do the mechanism where it plays songs and stuff, something shifted on the inside and I need to unbuild it to fix that little piece. And so that's a someday problem for me.
The piano is doing really well because it's been on store shelves for a long time.
It really has. Yeah.
Because it came out just before my typewriter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so, my typewriter was on shelves for 3.5 years before it was retired, just retired at Christmas. But the piano must have been out for maybe 5 years. It's incredible. Must be doing really well.
Do you remember if the piano was also LEGO Ideas?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah, yeah. I am starting to assemble the letters, and now I'm realizing I need to make sure that I know what I'm doing. Let me open the instruction book and see. So just a second. Let me pull that open. I use the sticker sheet to hold my page, and that's not that helpful. I need like a bookmark or something.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so it
really
looks
glad
like
that there weren't too many stickers in the end. You know,
same.
all of the
Ooh,
keys are prints, but yeah,
yeah.
there's an interesting little story behind the stickers. I could tell you while you're
Ooh, yeah,
finding your
please.
place.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
So they often let the fan designers put a little Easter egg into the
Mm,
set. You
yeah,
know, a little personal touch, something that means something to them that wouldn't
yeah.
necessarily stand out in the set.
Mm-hmm.
So they said that on the back of the set they were going to have a little sticker which looks almost like a sort of a serial number of the typewriter or something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
is it in
So
here?
yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
on
this thing. It's the shiny.
that's right. Yeah. So
Okay,
the
yeah.
green system one goes on the front, and then
Okay.
the system in play one goes at the back. And at the bottom, it just looks like a little code number that most people would ignore. But it
Mm-hmm.
says SG, so that's my name. And then
Hmm.
it says NGUOYD, which stands for Never Give Up on Your Dreams. So it was a
Ah,
little thing that meant a lot to me because, you know,
yeah.
I've got a picture of myself when I was 4 or 5 playing with
Mm-hmm.
Lego that I got for Christmas with my sisters. And, you know, if you told that little kid that one day he'd have a Lego set, you know, that he designed with the biggest toy company in the world, you know,
Right.
it is like it was a dream come true. So it was really nice that they let me put that little Easter egg in.
I love that so much. And so it's NGU. Can you repeat the letters again and the
Yeah,
phrase?
NGUOYD. Never give up on your dreams.
Okay. Oh, I love that so much. I was just looking to see if I could find your tokens that you brought to Brick Rodeo, because you ever so graciously left one for, I think it was at my mock that was my
Oh
DJ.
yeah, yeah, my tiny typewriter. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have it handy right now. This room is a disaster. So I'll have to find it later and share a picture of it. It is so fun. At Lego conventions, Lego builders often will build a little token of appreciation or support or friendship that they'll set at different mocks, either of their friends or of mocks that really inspire them, or just things that catch
I'll
their
go and get
eye.
mine, Justin. It's only
Oh yeah,
next door.
please.
So
Oh
while
my
you're
gosh.
talking,
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And so Steve, when he came to Brick Rodeo, brought these really, really fun little mini typewriters that are adorable and so perfect because it absolutely represents him. And when you see it on somebody's shelf, you instantly know that it's referencing this set. It's so cute. So when he gets back, he'll have to show that. While he's away, I'll also go through the chat. I've been a little bit behind on this. So Philip said, Justin and I built the Polaroid camera during a live stream at Step Something Interior. I have no clue why he's apprehensive about building the typewriter live, LOL. Yes. The last live stream, I think it was the last one, we got through the entire Polaroid and it did not work. And I was like, why is this not? Something wasn't working with the camera. And so I had posted about how it wasn't working. And a friend of ours, Cam, had joined the live stream and they were so gracious to show me, they took apart theirs and showed me how theirs worked. And it helped me help me identify the problem that was happening. And I was able to fix it, which is super fun. So, but yes, doing a Technic build on a live stream may not be the best option. So,
so can you see these, Justin, on the screen now?
yeah, let me switch over to you. Yay. Okay. I'm going to move Philip's comment out of the way. Awesome. They're so cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've made them in a few different colors. I haven't actually got the sand green one. I think I've given my copy away to someone,
Oh,
but
no.
yeah, there's only about 22 pieces or something. It's only
Okay.
3 studs wide.
I love that.
The colors are based on what color you can get the sausage in, because the sausage creates
Oh.
the curved shape over the top. But yes,
I
it's
love
a
that.
fun little build that
Yeah, hold it up to the camera.
made that
So
replicates the
cute.
typewriter with the little arm and everything.
That is so fun. And if I remember, did you do stickers of
Yeah,
NGUYOD
so
on
for
it
Brick
or?
Rodeo, I had this curved piece printed up with
Okay.
NGUOID.
So cool.
Mhm.
Just so clever. And this is like a perfect example of One of the things I love about the Lego community is how generous and kind people are to build these types of things and show recognition to each other. But B, how fun and creative you can be with just a few parts. So obviously, with a lot of parts, you can build and design an incredible build like the typewriter. But then with just a few parts, you said 23. Is that right?
Something like that. That's
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
top of my head. Yeah.
So like a small amount of parts, you can also design something that's a perfect replica in a small way, and that kind of shares who you are. Yeah, super fun. I love that tokens have become something that we've started to see more at different conventions. The token that Philip and I build or have built for the last year and a half, I think, is one of our little dog, Penny. It's a mini build. It's like 7 parts, so very small. And that's been fun to have something that we feel like is a part of our a part of our lives and a part of our world.
The tokens are slowly becoming more of a thing over here in the UK at the larger shows. At the smaller shows, they haven't really made an appearance. But the largest show we have is called Bricktastic, which happens in Manchester once a year. And lots of people were giving away tokens this year at Bricktastic, so that was great to see.
That is great. I had heard, I think that Brickworld Chicago might have been the first time that someone started to do those tokens. And that same year was the year that we started to see them at Brick Rodeo, because I think it was about 2 weeks after Chicago. So enough people were able to experience it there that they started to do their own. And then the next year, it seemed like everyone had them. And it was like, if you don't have one, what are you doing? And to be perfectly honest, I don't think they're necessary. I don't think they're required. Don't feel like you have to do that. I will also say that it costs money. I mean, we had to source all the parts that we needed for all the mini pennies that we built. And I'm sure you had to, as well as if you're printing anything on any of the parts, all of that can cost money and can add up too. So I know that not everybody has the opportunity to do that, but when it's there, it's really fun and it's a nice little appreciation moment. I popped up a question on the screen for you. So Ben says, what did you discover as part of the process of ideas that you didn't expect? Which is such a great question.
Yeah, so I think I was a little worried once it had been selected that they would just leave me out of the process. They would, take my idea, completely change it, and then the first I'd see of it would be it coming out in the shop. And it but they were really good in that they included me in the process as much as they could. Yes, they did change my idea. My prototype and the final thing don't look the same. But I think all of the changes they made were great. They'd go away and work for a couple of weeks and come up with some ideas, and then they'd have an online meeting with me and say, look, this is what we come up with. What do you think? What if you had options of this or this, which one would you go for? And they really made me feel part of the design team. And I got
so cool.
Most of the meetings were online, but I did get to go out to Billund in Denmark, where the design team is based, and you meet them face to face and see their prototypes and get to have a play with them, which was really, really exciting. So I felt very included in the process. And I think it's important for people to know that LEGO Ideas is you're not submitting the final design to be an actual set. They will change it, because at the end of the day, I'm just a fan of LEGO, whereas they're employed to do that. So they have all sorts of different safety tests that they have to put the product through. They put it in an oven to make sure that it doesn't warp and it's strong enough, and all this crazy stuff that you wouldn't even think of. But at the end of the day, I love the final design. And some of the main designers that worked on it, I've already mentioned Martin, who was the graphic designer, but James May and Wes Talbot were the 2 main designers that worked on it. But they said even when they were trying to work out the Technic parts, they went to the Technic team, and it's everything. I get the impression that is very collaborative within the LEGO group. So if one particular designer is working on something and they're stuck, they'll just go to an expert who's in a design room down the corridor and get some advice from them. So the functionality was very important in the design. I wanted to make sure that it had as much functionality as possible, because one of my passions is getting mechanisms and moving parts and things.
Yeah.
And the functionality is very different. In my prototype, you had a little crank handle on the side of the typewriter, and you
Okay.
turn the crank, and then 4 of the keys moved up and down, almost like it was sort of typing automatically.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so they took away the crank handle, which I was a bit disappointed at to start with, but it makes it more realistic, so that now you can press any key. Only a single hammer moves instead of 4, but
Wow.
the carriage moves backwards and forwards with the escapement mechanism, and it's pretty complicated stuff that I wouldn't have been able to work out on my own, without the design team.
I love that so much. And it's one of the questions I was going to ask was what changed, or did anything change? Which every LEGO Ideas designer always says, something changed, which makes sense. And like you said, these are professionals who have, and the LEGO group also has standards of making sure that things are secure and are able to withstand all of the different elements that they put it through. And part of it is they're also thinking about how kids play with sets. Obviously, this set is marketed towards adults, but they still have a kid in mind with any of those things too. But interesting to hear kind of some of the changes that they made for that. Were there other changes that were made to it that were like bigger changes, or?
I mean, the design team obviously know all of the new pieces that are out at the time that that normal fans of Lego wouldn't know, because they work a year or 2 in advance. So there were certain individual pieces which I didn't even know existed that are on the typewriter. That so yeah, that was a fun one. But
Cool.
once they got the main prototype working, they actually produced it in, I think it was 6 different colors.
Okay.
And they, gave me the final choice as to what color that I wanted it to be in. So,
Cool.
I'd made a few different prototypes in different colors. I'd made a gray one, and a yellow one, and a sand green one. But we went with sand green because part of the research I'd done when I was looking into the typewriter, I'd found an old photo of the founder of Lego in his office with a typewriter in the background.
Yeah.
And they really liked that sort of element to the story that I'd put behind it. And I tried I'm actually not a typewriter expert. It's just something that I thought would be a real cool model to make. But lost my thread where I'm saying, but yeah, I reached out to a typewriter forum and asked some people if they could identify what model it was that was in the background of this photo, because it was only an old black and white photo.
Yeah.
And then once I found the model, I found out what colors that model had came in, and we came to the sort of deduction that it was probably a sand green one. So yeah.
I think, is this the picture you're talking about?
That's right. Yes.
Okay, so this is in the instruction book, and you can see the typewriter. Ooh, there we go, right there in the background. Whoa, oh my gosh. So yeah, that is so cool. I love the intentional thought process behind what color it could be, and trying to weave in some fun Lego history with it too, which is really cool.
But it was great to see at Brick Rodeo. I can't remember his name, but what can you remember the name of the guy that actually recreated my set in a number of different colors?
Yeah, I think it's Gregory. It's Bricks and a Snap, I think, is his Instagram handle.
That was really cool.
I'm pretty sure that was him. And yeah, one of the colors he did was orange, and he gifted it to our friend Mo, who is a Lego fan media as well, but also loves orange and has all these orange different things. And it was just such a fun touch. And I think, did you sign a tile that is on it?
Yeah, I signed all 4 of them for him.
I thought so. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought so. Okay, so I'm going to show real quick the letters. And Nicole had asked about the colors, so I'm glad that you just talked about that. Hi, Nicole. Good to see you. And great question. That was one I had as well. I'm going to zoom in to show you how these letters are put together. So we're using 2 plates two round plates behind them. There are three ones that are larger. So they're that 3x3 round circle. And then all the rest are this 2x2 circle. But that gives it the depth that makes it feel like a complete key. If you just had it where it was just the tile, first off, it would be hard to keep on. It would fall off all the time, I'm sure. So part of this is for stability, I'm sure, but also for just the feel and experience of actually pushing down on one of the keys. And so then in the back of it, you put these axles. So it's a half axle, half pin. Let me pull that out to see. Well, I can't.
Quite stiff, those blue ones.
Yeah, it's fine. You understand what it is. But then this will stick on the hammers, I think is the right term. And that's the same term that we would use for piano keys too. I don't know if it's hammer, but the lever that you would push the buttons on. So really, really cool. I will probably attach those later because I want to get into talking about your other set. So before you share about your other set, there was one other question here. Let's see. Here we go. Philip had said, what did you feel like as your breakthrough moment on ultimately getting to 10,000 votes? So for anybody who's got a LEGO Ideas set, tips or something that you thought like, oh, that really helped me kind of reach that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a few things along the way. It's when I first put it on, it had a really good start. So it got 2,000 votes within the first month.
Wow.
So I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be easy getting to 10,000.
Right. Yeah. Surprise.
They even give you a statistics curve, so you can plot how many ideas you're getting over time. And so the line went straight up, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be great. But then, it took over a year to get the rest of the way. So, I could see points like when I went to a show, there'd be a little peak, or I got some magazines and some fan media to do little articles about it. I got it in Blocks magazine and things like that, and you could see a little jump in the votes when that happened. But I think even when it got to 10,000, it didn't really. I was super excited, but I didn't really think they'd ever choose it. For me, the most exciting point was when I had a call with the LEGO Ideas team. So it was 2 weeks, I think, before the results were actually announced.
Okay.
And they'd given me an email and said, oh, we'd like to have a call because we want to discuss some of the details of your design. Yeah. So I went on the call, and for about 20 minutes, they were just talking about the details of the design and things like that. And, they didn't actually say, oh, we're going to make this into a real set. But then near the end of the call, Sam, who was the lead on LEGO Ideas at the time, said, how would you feel if we said that we were going to make your typewriter into an actual set? I saw it as a question, as in, how would I feel if that would happen? Not it was definitely happening. So I said, oh yeah, it'd be amazing. And he goes, no, I'm telling you, we are actually choosing it. And I mean, that was the best moment for me. It really, it was very emotional. At the end of the call, I ran back in to the house because my office was down in my shed at the end of the garden, and shared the news with my wife and my kids. So that was fab.
That is so fun. I love the story too of like them dropping that information on you, but not making it clear that I'm trying to tell you this is That's fun. And like you said, going to shows, showing the different pieces, sometimes you get minimal spikes. I have a LEGO Ideas set up. It's minimal spikes anytime I show it in person, but it's a big challenge to get 10,000 people to actually log into LEGO Ideas, actually submit their votes. I want to show you real quick. I put on the letters QWERTY, which is, so that, where is this? Here we go. So we have these here. They actually go up and down. And when you click them, you'll notice on the back side, so this will be inside, it's moving the little hammers up and down. And so once I have all of them on here, I'll be able to actually do, or you'll be able to actually type all the different pieces. And then the larger ones go on the gray. I like that they use different colors for that to help us know where different things would go. So the shift lock and the shift key. I'm going to set this aside though, and I'm going to come back to it after the live stream, because there's no way I can focus on getting all those letters in the right place, but so cool. Excuse me, before we show your new LEGO Ideas model, which if anyone who's on the chat can do me a favor and go to the LEGO Ideas website and search for, is it Make It, Move It?
Just type in Inventor Kit.
Inventor Kit, thank you. Type in Inventor Kit, find the link and drop the link into the chat. That would be such a joy to be able to help people find his new build that he'll talk about in just a moment, and vote for it. And if you haven't voted for it yet, please do. We want that kit to get to the 10,000 votes and have it be your second, and have you join the small ranks of people who have more than one set that was approved. So let me move this aside. When we invited Steve to Brick Rodeo, he brought, or he worked with us to do a talk, which was super fun. And I got to interview you, which I loved. It was so fun to get to chat with you. But he also designed a kit to teach movement. And part of why we invited you to Brick Rodeo was because I followed you on Instagram for so long, and I learned so much from the accessible ways that you teach about movement. It's so easy and it's so powerful to be like, oh my gosh, I just did this. That's so, like, I just created this and it's moving. It's such a aha moment when you see the inner workings of how these things happen. And you do it in such a, so Steve is an educator at heart and in how he approaches all of these things. And so his content is fantastic to learn different bits of movement. So he designed a really cool model that can be built and then unbuilt and rebuilt in 10 different ways and teach you 10 different movement techniques. And I want to show you, I built 6 versions of the pieces, and I made a little mini golf course out of it. So I just want to show you quickly this before I have you talk about your new set. But this is the model. Oh, also, I'm drinking out of my England cup today because you're here. So.
Very good.
So obviously not the best view in this version, but I want to show you twisting that hand crank. You get all the different elements of, oh, it got stuck. But twisting, actually, I think I'm twisting it backwards. There we go. Twisting the hand crank, you can see we've got Philip's sig fig with our dog Penny, and he's giving her a bone and she's jumping for it. We have a spinning tree because that happens at golf courses all the time. A music note going back and forth, which honestly was, as I was putting these pieces together, it was right after Brick Rodeo last year, and I had that pre-built from one of the trophies that we ended up. It was my prototype that I was giving to people who were helping me build the trophies, because we had mocks of note. I have me with my golf club going back and forth and just not hitting that ball, like just barely missing it, clearly. The sun that's just moving in the sky, and then a little flag for where the hole is that I'm trying to reach. So, but as you can see, kind of, in these little windows, when you spin, you get to see what happens. So he designed this in such a brilliant way that you learn the process as you're building it, but then when you twist the crank, you can actually see those elements moving in a way that teaches you why it's working, or when it gets stuck, oh, something's stuck. I can actually see through that window. For instance, this one tends to trip up on me, particularly if I spin it backwards. There's something about the way that when I spin the crank backwards, it gets jammed, which also, if I spin it forwards, it works fine. So it helps me know, though, oh, that's the one that's tripping up the whole thing. So the set was designed where basically you would just build one module. I went through my stash and built as many as I could. And I think I combined Philip and my kits because we had 2 kits from Brick Rodeo. But I just want to say again, thank you for this gift of coming to Brick Rodeo, teaching our folks movement techniques. I think we had around 400 AFOLs that were there. That helped out, or not that helped out, that got the kits, that were able to learn from you. I've seen so many of them share in their Instagrams and other accounts and things, ways that are things that they learned, and showing off the kits that they learned. So kudos to you, and thank you so much. It was such a joy to have you with us in Austin. So
no problem. I thoroughly enjoyed coming over. And it's
Yeah.
great to see you have adapted the kit and added
Yeah.
your own ideas, which was the exact idea that I was hoping would happen. So yes,
Mm.
lovely to see you've done that. Thank you.
Awesome. Of course, of course. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Do you want to share about the Inventor Kit? And I'm going to put
Yeah,
you on
so
the
I've
main screen
really
real quick.
taken that 10-in-1 kit idea and really sort of tried to add to it. And my idea behind it would be that if there was 10 models in the kit, you wouldn't be able to make all 10 at one time, but you'd make maybe 2, and then you take them apart and learn about the mechanisms and build another 2. And so I've got a few of them here that I can show you. So I've based them all around different inventions over time. So we start off with the light bulb. The Lego light brick I'd thought of incorporating into this one, but I thought it'd be more fun if they had a sort of more cartoony movement. You can just about see the simple gears going inside. So we start with the light bulb. Then I've got lots of other inventions. We've got things like the telephone.
Mm-hmm. Can you raise it just a tad? Or yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Ringing away. We've got, let's have a little look. We've got the robot.
This is my favorite one.
So you can see his legs moving side to side. His arms actually move a little bit as well. This is based on one of the early series collectible minifigures, which was a robot.
Yeah, I knew it instantly, the reference from it. It's so perfect.
Then, so I won't show you them all, but this is another one of my favorite ones, which is based on the old Atari Pong computer game.
Yeah. Oh, also really cool. Yeah.
So you've got the paddles moving up and down and the ball going backwards and forwards.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take the back off, you might be able to see the paddles are actually poked through the holes like that, and you can see them going up and down with the little wheels.
Is so cool.
Yeah, so there's I've actually designed, I think, 14 different modules which are put onto the set, and my idea is that it would make a great set for kids to learn about mechanisms, or any age really, to learn about mechanisms, and then for it not to just sit on the shelf and be a display model, but for it really to be a working thing, so you could then take those mechanisms, just like you've done with your amazing golf course, and turn it into something else. So not an official sort of Lego education set, but something more more readily available, that people will really get people into what I call tinkering. I love just tinkering, making something up, seeing it doesn't work, taking it apart, doing it again, and I get a buzz out of that process, even if it's just something really small. I'm like, yay, I've got it working. So for other people to be able to experience that would be my aim behind the set. So I launched it at around Christmas time, I think, and I'm on about 4,400 votes, so I'm nearly halfway. But I just need people to share it and vote for it and see where it goes.
Congratulations, and very well deserved, all of those votes. First off, it's very hard to get people to follow through and take the steps to go to LEGO Ideas, especially if they don't have an account. There are so many steps to get there. So 4,450 supporters, I think is what I just saw on the website. I dropped the link in the chat. Please, if you haven't voted yet, yay, Nicole says she voted. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Yes. And she says the Pong game is my favorite, which the robot is my favorite because of the direct connection to the minifig, as well as I love sculpted builds and I love characters. And so it just, it reached my heart really quickly, but all of them are so good. 4452 now. Awesome. So thank you for you. And I voted already, so I can't bump it up again. But LEGO Ideas also, that's one thing I do like about the platform is while it's hard and challenging to get people to go through, actually sign up for it and everything, the reality is that also guarantees that it's not Steve 10,000 times voting for Steve's set. Like they make sure that it's a real human behind it too. So, did you have another thing you were going to show?
Oh yeah, so a
Yeah.
recent one I've added to the kit is this little tiny model of an injection molding
Yes.
machine. So injection molding is the process of how you actually make Lego bricks. So there is, I think the Lego house a couple of years ago did a really big model of an injection molding machine.
Yeah,
This would be a great little educational one to teach people how you put the granules in the top, and then this little thing called an Archimedes screw pushes the granules along as they heat up.
That's
and then
so cool.
the mold opens up at the end, and out pops a Lego brick. So it sort of shows the whole process of how an actual Lego brick is made, which is fun.
Steve, that is so cool. I love how your brain works. So also, if I'm not mistaken, your movement techniques, Lego has partnered with you for some of their social media campaigns, for some of their different things,
so I've done a few different things for the Lego's social media. They had a little series where they sort of reimagined how things would work. So they showed somebody making some toast and putting a toast in a toaster, but then the camera zoomed in, and of course inside a toaster it's not electricity or anything, it's a dragon breathing fire onto the bread. And so I have real fun doing a few things like that for them, which was a dream job, really.
Oh, good, right? Yeah, for real. You also did, I think, when the Muppets were introduced, you did
that's right.
Introduction of all those Muppet minifigures, which yesterday was the 70th anniversary of the Muppets.
Oh, okay, wow.
So happy 70th anniversary or birthday, Kermit. But yes, if you all get a chance, check out Steve's. Do you have those pinned on your Instagram? Or some of them?
I don't, but if you scroll down, you'll probably find them.
Go to his Instagram, you'll see. And what I love is that after the social media campaigns came out, you also shared some behind the scenes elements of them too. And so it's really neat if you compare the final video that went out on socials on Lego's account, which you could scroll through Lego and try and find it. You probably won't, because they have so many posts. But you can at least find some of the behind the scenes videos on Steve's page. So cool. One thing that I think you're also fantastic about, so the movement is excellent, and you're so good at teaching how that all works and everything. And like Ben had said, learning these different things, it forces you to be creative and think about what the movement does, which I love. So absolutely so true. And I think anybody who engages with a set or with your Instagram account too, to learn how to do some of these movement techniques, they end up learning something really cool that they can apply in other ways. For me, the joy of reviewing sets is so much related to two things. One is, what can I learn from this that I can add into something different later? And so currently my focus is on sets that move. I really love and fell in love with making things that move and whatnot, kind of in preparation for going on Lego Masters and then being a part of it too. So I came back from that just wanting to add movement to everything. And it's been so fun to continue to learn and grow in that, but also as I review a set and saying, oh, wow, this could be used in this way and this other way too. But then the second thing that I want to praise you for, which I think is just so cool, you're so good at storytelling. You were so good at it. Like the ways those there was the toaster, there was something else. I can't remember if it was a refrigerator, but there were a couple different things that were really great stories of, imagine how, find a creative and clever way of how a toaster works that's obviously not the way a real toaster works. So just the thinking about like, oh, it'd be really fun to add dragons in there and have them breathing fire on the toast. And there was something about how it popped back up. I can't remember the exact details, but you're so clever. So thank you for sharing that joy with all of us.
It's just pretending to be a kid and coming up with silly things.
Yeah. You're really, really fantastic at it.
So
and thank you, Eduardo.
Justin, here's a challenge for you.
Yes.
You've got your create your golf kit with 6 moving things.
Yeah.
Your holiday buddies on Lego Ideas has got 12. So I
Yes.
want to see a line of 12 with all of your holiday
Oh,
buddies on there doing some dancing.
okay. That's challenge accepted. That's a big challenge, but I love it. So fun. I'm glad you mentioned them. I'm gonna share, or I'm gonna show you some of them. So, on LEGO Ideas, I also have a set up there too. It's been up since last summer. It is not at 4,453 votes yet. It's
Yet, yeah.
closer to around 500. My goal at this point, I don't think it'll get to 10,000 in the time. If it does, that would be remarkable. But my goal would be to get to 1,000. I think that'd be really fun. So it's at 526 supporters. I just dropped the link in the chat. I have 102 days left to get to 1,000 supporters. And if I get to that 1,000, then they open up more time for me to get to the next part, which I think is 5,000. Oh yeah, Philip says that's what will get it to 1,000 is making the movement. So maybe I need to hop on that challenge soon. But essentially, what I designed, like I mentioned, I love character building. I love creating little creatures and such. And so I made one buddy for every month of the year. Here's December. So her name is Carol because of Christmas Carol. And she has high heels on. You have to put them in these clear pieces in order for her to be able to attach to something because it's all built upside down, which is fun. And just thought she was fabulous. But she's obviously for December, for Christmas time. For April, I've got this one that's for Earth Day. And her name is Eartha Joy. And she is a superhero who is about to save the Earth from climate change and really focused on what we can do to better the Earth, which is fun. That's why she's got her superhero glasses. I like that I did her legs in a fun way where she's got like a fun pose. And then one more, let's see, I will show, this one because Steve's here. This is September, and that's because in the United States, at least, September is back to school time. So August, September timeframe is usually when kids are going back to school. And so I made this principal. So it's a school principal, of course. And I'm trying to remember the name of this one. Oh, that's embarrassing. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head because I'm put on the spot. But this one was really fun because I had to figure out how to do the math to get 6 different directions for the 6 different sides of the pencil. So Drew Sharp, that was his name, because I thought Principal Sharp, and he's a sharp pencil. And he has fun dad jokes for all the kids. So I made little characters. I gave them all personalities. Is it a number 2 principal? Oh my gosh. Then why didn't I consult you on the stories behind these? It is now a number 2 principal. Thank you. Maybe it's a vice principal. Oh my gosh, that's too fun. But yeah, so I just had a ball building them. Honestly, back in 2023, I was building. Ooh, let me grab the calendar. Also, these random thumbs up and things happen and like hearts and stuff when I do actions, and I need to figure out how to turn that off. But it happens like almost every live stream where I'm like, why is there confetti? Or where did this come from? So back in 2023, LEGO produced a calendar like this one. This is the 2025 version. And it's one of those calendars where there is a tear off page with something on it each day. And so there was a prompt for every single day of the year. And Saturdays and Sundays were combined. And so there were 6 prompts a week, making 313 prompts throughout that whole year. And I started the year thinking I was going to build maybe a month's worth. And I knew it was going to be a challenge, but thought, we'll see how far I get, and figured I would eventually fall off or get behind. And I ended up building all 313, which was so fun. And honestly, for me, it was just, this is a fun creative process. Like I was enjoying the daily prompt to build something and often it was a prompt that was maybe something I wouldn't think to build or wouldn't normally typically build. And so throughout that year, some of the prompts led me to build the first few holiday buddies. So there was one in February that was build something that doesn't have legs and add legs to it. And so I built the heart holiday buddy for Valentine's Day. I don't see him nearby. Anyway, that's oh, I do have a sticker of him. So I created actually stickers of the heart holiday buddy, because that was the first one. February is my birth month, and I just thought he was super cute. But that was the first one, and then throughout the year, because the calendar was built around seasonal things, there were other seasonal bits that got me building some other characters. And I think by the end of the year, I had the heart buddy, I had the candy corn. I had a pumpkin pie slice for November, which in the US we do Thanksgiving, and then the Christmas tree. And at the end of the year, I thought, okay, now I need to build one for every month. So that's what inspired all of this. And then also just a fun fact about that, that was the same year that I ended up going on Lego Masters. And so what I didn't realize through this calendar building fun was I was practicing every day, and I was learning something small every day. And those small things that I learned at the beginning of the year really helped improve my building skills, that by the end of the year, I ended up going to Atlanta and being on Lego Masters in October. So it was, when people say, I could never do that, I want to challenge that concept and say, yes, you can. Start small, do a little bit every single day, and you'll get a little bit better every single day. One example too with that is this is my first prototype of Carol, and you can see if I zoom in, there's little spaces here and here that of like where the bottom of her tree skirt or tree branches are. And when I was rebuilding all of these, because I wanted to have two sets, one that I could have on display at our Lego store, had it on display for a while, which is fun. And then our local Bricks and Minifigs store had it on display. But then I also needed another set that I could take with me to conventions. And so as I was rebuilding all of them, I realized and learned, oh, there's a much easier way to build this that I wasn't thinking, that eliminated the gaps and also made it much sturdier. So this is the first one, and she is far less sturdy, and you can see on the bottom those gaps. Now my second one that I'd made closed in those gaps and made her more sturdy to where she doesn't fall apart. So I just say that to say, keep trying, keep building. Doing online build challenges, or watching something on Steve's page and saying, oh, I want to do that too, and following his step-by-step process, and then figuring out how, now that I know how to make this movement, what story do I want to tell around it? Or how would I build this into something that's not a square box, but maybe it's like underground on a golf course if I'm building a larger golf course? Like, how would I have to adjust it a little bit? And you will get to a place where you will surprise yourself with what you can do. So rant over.
I completely agree. It's really important to encourage people to start small. You know, you go to a convention, you see these huge, great big things, which are amazing to look at. But actually, I like looking for the small little details and thinking, oh, that's a clever build. I wonder how I can use that in one build of my own. And so definitely the small things are really important.
Yeah. And totally agree too. I think when whenever I'm at a Lego convention, everyone gets wowed by the big. You walk in the room and you see something massive, and it's just jaw-dropping and so cool. But what I love the most is spending time looking at those large things to find the hidden details that people have woven into them. And there are some builders that are excellent at building large scale, but they need a little bit more work with figuring out how to add little stories into it. And then there are builders that are excellent at the small storytelling details, but maybe need some work on building some of the big things. And what I love about a convention is you're able to walk up to somebody and say, I love how you did this. Can you teach me? Or like, can you explain to me how this piece works? Or can you show me some of the hidden details in there? Anytime you go to a convention, which first off, everyone should always, if you have a chance, please go to one. They're so cool. They're all over the world. And they're just great opportunities to be inspired and be filled with joy. But talk to the builders and ask them questions, because everyone lights up and wants to tell you all the fun things about them. And a lot of them are shy. A lot of them are not like me and won't just talk to you when you walk by anyway. So approach the table, ask them some questions. They will show you some fun details. But then if you're there as a builder, start to pay attention to what others did well and ask them how you can incorporate some of that into your own, or ask for feedback. You can learn so much. from just having those conversations with each other. So that's one tip I would have. It says Lego builders shy, shut up.
Yeah.
Yes, it's interesting because so in our lug we have, I don't know, I want to say like 70 people now. It's massive, and of those there's probably 10, 15 that are very talkative. Hey Mayo, good to see you. There's like 10 or 15 that are super talkative, and then there's the rest that are much more quiet, but they will light up when you talk with them about their builds and experience. I just got off on a tangent and all over the place, but yes, I love looking for those details, and I love looking for people who do something different with Lego that I've never seen done before. That's just super fun to see. So yeah, you can get a lot of that joy out of those experiences. So I dropped my link for my holiday buddies in there. I would love your votes for that too, if you, while you're there, to vote for Steve's. But I would say most importantly, vote for Steve's Inventor Kit. And if I can challenge all of you to take the link and share it on a social media page to tell your friends to vote for his kit, please do. Steve has a great video, I think pinned at the top of your Instagram, that you can find that introduces people to the kit. So the best things you can do to help support others' Lego ideas is first to vote yourself, because we've had so many people. I can't tell you how many people came out to me and said, I love your holiday buddies. They'd be really cute as a set. And I say, thank you. There's a QR code here and you can vote. And they say, good luck, and walk away. And I'm like, I don't know how to make this easier. Please help. So actually vote. But then more importantly, grab that link. When you share it on Instagram, share it in your stories, you can add a link sticker and then copy or paste in that link. And that makes it one step easier for someone to find Steve's incredible Inventor Kit and share it with your friends. So I really want this to be a set. Like I said, I learned so much from, thank you, Eduardo. He said voted for both. That's really sweet. I really appreciate that. But I loved so much learning all of these different things, and had so much fun building out, like imagining how could these movements go together in a fun way from your set that you brought to Brick Rodeo. And I just want every person in the world to have the opportunity to actually build and share in the joy of learning movement. So please, everyone, copy paste that link. Share it with at least one friend. Get an extra vote for the one that you gave for Steve's as well. And while you're there, if you feel so inclined, I would love for you also to vote for my holiday buddies. I also have a pinned post at the top of my Instagram, and it goes through every single one if you want to see the other ones too, or if you wanted to share that with your friends too. Mayo, real quick, what game are you playing? I see you're listening while you're gaming. Let us know what you're playing. Steve, thank you so much for joining. I realize that it's 11:40 my time, so it's 5:40 your time.
5:40,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So it's now your evening. Forge of Empires. I don't know that game. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for spending a little more than an hour of your time with me today. I love chatting with you always, and am a huge fan of yours, but also so grateful to call you a friend now that we've gotten to connect personally at Brick Rodeo. Yeah, it just means a lot that you took time out of your day to join me today. So
no problem at all. Thank you very much for inviting me. And
of course.
I look forward to seeing you again on Lego
Yes.
Masters as soon as it's on the screen. So.
Thank you so much. And as Philip says, it's food time in our house. That is very true. So the timing of these second Saturday lives always falls right when we always make a fun breakfast on Saturdays, just for the two of us. So I'm going to go eat because I'm hungry. But thank you all. Thanks for joining. It was fun to have so many of you in the chat today and peppering Steve with so many great questions. Thanks again, Steve. And yeah, I will see you all again for another live stream next month. But I have some fun review sets that I get to share about soon. So just to give you a quick overview, I have the Keith Haring set that Philip and I built this week. Talk about incredible details. The shaping and sculpting of those, mind-blowing. I am so excited for that, for you all to get your hands on that set. But I'll be sharing that. And then I shared a brief tutorial of the large Dalmatian puppy, and how you can switch it from seated position to downward-facing dog position. But I have a full review coming out for that too. So those will be shared soon. But yeah, we'll join again in June for some live. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful evening, Steve, as well as everyone else who it's your evening time. And yeah, build kindness, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, friends. And it was never give up on your dreams, right?
That's it. Yep.
Build kindness and never give up on your dreams. All right. Bye, friends.